If you were a Gen X kid who let yourself in after school, made your own snack, and never asked for help, this may explain why no one saw your ADHD. We call it independence. We call it resilience. We even brag about it a little, the Latchkey Kid thing. But here's what nobody talks about. That early self-sufficiency didn't just build grit. For a lot of us, it hid symptoms. It trained us to overfunction, mask, and just survive quietly. And now, decades later, we're looking around like, wait, was that ADHD this whole time? Let's talk about it. I'm a Gen Xer, born in 1965. Gen X grew up with keys on shoelaces around our necks and frozen TV dinners. We were told to be home before dark and don't answer the door. We figured out microwaves, homework, sibling disputes, and boredom all by ourselves. And on the surface, that looks like competence, but ADHD doesn't always look like chaos. Sometimes it looks like hyper independence. If you had ADHD as a kid in the 70s or 80s, there wasn't a lot of nuance. You were either bouncing off the walls or you were fine. And a lot of us were fine. We forgot homework, but we learned to copy it fast. We lost things, but got really good at last-minute scrambling. We were overwhelmed, but we didn't tell anybody because nobody was at home anyway. That's not thriving. That's adapting. ADHD is a brain that struggles with executive function, planning, starting, regulating emotions, managing time. If you grow up in an environment where you have to take care of yourself early, you develop workarounds. You become hyper aware of consequences. You become very good at self monitoring. You overcompensate. And that overcompensation can look like maturity on the surface. Teachers might say, "Oh, she's so independent." Your boss will say, "Wow, you handle everything." Friends will say, "Oh, you're the strong one." Meanwhile, inside, you're exhausted. Because what looks like independence is often anxiety driven self reliance. A lot of latchkey kids learned that needing help wasn't an option. So we stopped needing it, or at least we pretended to. Here's the problem with that. When ADHD is masked by competence, nobody looks beyond that. You meet deadlines, you pay bills, you show up, but it seems to cost you much more than it costs anyone else.
I'm kind of tired.
You live in last minute adrenaline mode. You clean in panic bursts when you know someone's coming over. You over prepare for everything because forgetting something used to seem dangerous to you. And because you manage, no one sees the burnout, not even you.
Don't worry about it. Just remain calm, keep moving.
So when you finally hit a wall in your 40s or 50s, it feels like failure, like you suddenly lost your edge. But maybe you were running on fumes for 40 years. Let's break down how Gen X latchkey culture and ADHD overlap. ADHD brains are wired for interest-based focus. If it's urgent, novel, or emotionally charged, we will hone in on it like a laser beam. If it's boring or slow, however, it's like pushing a car uphill.
Unless, of course, I can't find you or if I
Growing
forget.
up alone after school, that's novel and urgent. You had to figure things out. There were stakes. There was freedom mixed with risk. That kind of environment can actually fuel an ADHD brain short term. It keeps you alert, but long time, it wires you into self-survival mode. Many Gen X adults with ADHD describe similar experiences. I'm great in a crisis. I fall apart in routine. I can take care of you and anyone else who comes along, but I struggle to take care of myself. That's not random. When you're young and independent too early, you build identity around being capable. So when ADHD symptoms show up, disorganization, overwhelm, emotional sensitivity. You don't see them as neurological. You see them as personal flaws. And here's where shame creeps in. If you've been the responsible one, you don't get to admit that you forgot the appointment. If you're the strong one, you don't get to say you're drowning. If you've always handled it, you're expected to keep handling it. So you double down. You mask harder. You micromanage yourself. You push through until you can't. Here's the moment that changes everything. Realizing that your independence may be an adaptation, not your personality. Being able to take care of yourself at age 7 doesn't mean that you didn't need support. That being okay doesn't mean your brain wasn't struggling. And the exhaustion you feel now is not weakness. It's the cost of decades of self-managed ADHD. When I look back, I don't see myself as a lazy kid. I see a kid who figured it out because she had to. And I don't see a broken adult anymore. I see someone who can build systems around a brain that's wired differently. There's grief in that realization, but there's also a whole lot of relief. Because once you understand that, you can stop blaming yourself. The Latchkey Kid Effect isn't just nostalgia. It shaped how we cope with life. It shaped how we hide. And for a lot of Gen X adults, it masked ADHD symptoms so well that even we didn't know we were masking. Self-sufficiency became identity. Overfunctioning became normal. Burnout became background noise. But independence doesn't mean you didn't struggle. It just means you learned how to survive quietly. And now, as adults, we get to ask a different question. Not, oh, why can't I keep up with everyone else? But instead, what kind of support do I need? That's a powerful shift. If this resonates with you, tell us about it in the comments. I love to hear about everyone's workarounds and hacks. And who knows, we can help each other out. If you enjoy my content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps my channel, and I'm trying to build it up. I appreciate every like and subscribe I get. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one, if I remember.